Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Drew Rubin. I first want to thank Cairo Secure for inviting me to this webinar series that we're going to call Disruptive Pediatrics. I have been a Cairo Secure member since I graduated in 1989, so I am sure proud to have them as my malpractice insurance. Disruptive Pediatrics, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I am so excited to bring this to you. What does the word disruptive mean? It means to be, I'm looking at it right now, the Webster's Dictionary. It means to be innovative or groundbreaking. And I think that's what we need right now in chiropractic, especially post pandemic. Now that we're kind of getting out of that, I think we need to start to think about pediatric chiropractic in a very different way. And that different way is this. Number one, brain based. I really think that brain-based chiropractic is the wave of chiropractic's future, especially in pediatrics. Number two is polyvagal informed. I have been immersed in the polyvagal theory since 2010 or so, and it has really revolutionized my practice. So I'm going to share that information with you. And number three is very kid-centered adjusting, and that's what we're going to talk about. But first, I want to give you sort of an overarching concept of what disruptive pediatrics is. And then every month, we're going to bring you different concepts, different speakers, different ideas that go along with this disruptive pediatric idea. So let's go to the slides right now. And this is what I'm about. So if you want like my brief biography, this is what it is. I'm so excited to be here. I graduated from Life in '89. Webster taught me. Jeannie Ohm was one of my mentors. So, and now here I am. It's such an honor. So I happened to go to the last ICPA mega conference back in 2018, and Bill Esteb was one of the speakers there. And you probably all know Bill Esteb. He's been an amazing chiropractic supporter for years and years and years. And he said his whole topic was not pediatric chiropractic. It was disruptive chiropractic, just disruptive chiropractic. And I said, wow, I remember taking furious notes at the seminar. And he said, chiropractic is disruptive. It doesn't treat anything. It doesn't require prescription. It's natural, it's safe, and it respects the wisdom of the body. And I was like, I like that. I like his thought process. And then he said, chiropractic is very different than a traditional kind of healing art or medical art. What chiropractic is a healing art that unleashes healing, is based on science, is founded on tone, is about the nervous system, is specific adjustments, and you're dealing with the person that happens to have a problem, which is the subluxation. What it isn't, it's not a medical subspecialty. It is not treatment of conditions. It's not a cult of placebo. It is not based upon symptoms. It's not about the spine. I thought that's brilliant. Even Bill Estep knows it's not about the spine. It's about the brain and nerve system, guys. It's not about general manipulation. It's about specific adjustments. And with what it isn't is it's not about the problem in the person, right? So I thought this was brilliant. And I remember sitting there at that seminar in 2018 saying, what about disruptive pediatrics? And this germ of this idea has come into being until now. Now you guys are seeing it. So how do we make pediatric chiropractic disruptive? I'm going to give you 5 ways to make chiropractic pediatrics disruptive. Number one, as a thought, is kids are kids, not little adults. This was one of the biggest sayings that Dr. Larry Webster, the founder of the ICPA and grandfather of pediatrics in chiropractic, said all the time. Kids are kids, not little adults. That you don't just take an adjustment that's for an adult and you go like this to make it smaller for a kid. They have specific needs, specific wants, specific directions, specific adjustments. He used to say, chiropractic pediatrics is as different for kids as like Thompson is to Gonstead. It's just not the same. They're both great, but they're not the same. And the same thing when we're adjusting kids. And here's Dr. Webster adjusting my son back in 1995 when he was a month old. It's not just taking the adjustment and dumbing it down and making it smaller. It's an entirely new skill set. And that's one of the major tenets, I think, of disruptive pediatrics is that we need to start thinking very specifically about how can we make it different, stand out. One of my favorite things that people say to me is, I've never heard anything like this before, and I've never seen adjustments like this before. And I'm like, exactly, because pediatric chiropractic should be that different. So that's the first step. Oh, and the conversation of this started over 100 years ago, or almost 100 years ago, in Dr. Craven's book, one of the Green Books, volume 3 in 1924, Chiropractic Hygiene in Pediatrics. So this conversation has been going on for a while, now evolving into disruptive pediatrics. Number 2 is Disruptive pediatrics is patient-centered, not technique-driven. Now, everybody's got their favorite techniques, whether it's Gonstead, Thompson, Activator, Diversified, Spools, they're all fabulous. Every one of them does a great thing. But what I want you to think about is that less is more. And everybody's got these new kind of fangled sayings. This is my favorite new fangled saying: "Gentle is the new strong." And we're not talking about gentle as in like not effective. We're talking about gentle as in specific. We're talking about gentle as in focused, right? That's where I think pediatric chiropractic needs to go. Is kind of needs to start focusing down, honing down on what we really need to do to reach these little kiddos. It's not just taking that whatever adjustment we have in our whatever box of technique we call it, it's changing it to make sure that it is specific for this little kiddo on that particular day based upon their neurology and where they are at. So that's the second concept. I think we need to stand for a salutogenic model, right? I don't treat anything, right? I don't treat back pain. I don't treat autism. I don't treat ear infections. I don't treat colic. I don't treat anything. What I do is I fix subluxations and I improve nerve system function. That is a salutogenic pediatric chiropractic disruptive model, right? So you can always move towards healthier versus the allopathic model, which is fix what's broken, right? That's not what we're after in this. So, for instance, what if a child comes into your practice and they don't want to lie down on a chiropractic bench, like this little munchkin here? He had no desire to lie down. Matter of fact, and he's on the spectrum. Not only had no desire, I could not get him to lie down on a bench. He would fight and kick. So he wanted to get adjusted sitting here. So here is the key between a patient-centered adjustment versus technique-driven, is can you take your adjustment and do it on a child where they are? So that is the key. And amazing, this little bunchkin in a couple of months worth of care went from a minimally speaking child to having whole sentences in several months worth of care, right? So it doesn't make a difference whether they were lying face down, face up, standing, sitting, whatever they were. It's where are they, and adjust them where they are. Number 3, this is brain based, right? We are not we are nerve system doctors. We are not back doctors, not bone doctors. That's an old concept. Yeah, but even D.D. Palmer said we're founded on tone, right? So even though they say it's an old concept, I think it's a mixed concept. It's when chiropractic kind of got muddied into, are we like PTs? Are we doing all this kind of stuff? Or are we really supposed to be taking care of subluxations? And let's train on gentle pediatric specific adjustments, focusing on the brain and nerve system. Because look at this. This is an amazing dissection that was done back in 1925 at the Kirksville College of Osteopathy. It took 1,500 hours of dissection to pull out every single nerve from all over the brain and nerve system and put it into this one like big giant, piece. We are nerve system specialists, not back, not bone, not spine doctors, in my opinion. Now, once again, just to understand, if someone wants to be a back doctor, they want to be a bone doctor, that's their spine specialty, that's what drives them, that's great. But I'm trying to reach the people who want to be brain-based, who want a different kind of focus, who want to disrupt the chiropractic that's been around for 120-something years and going on the same boat of seeing 10% of the population. We've got to change our thinking, in my opinion, in order to get to the next level. Number 4 is disconnected kids may have subluxations that actually resist correction. I don't think a lot of people really understand this when we talk about this. But what I have found in the years of that I've been blessed to take care of kids on the spectrum, kids with ADHD, learning disorders, very severe issues like cerebral palsy, is that you and I, when we get adjusted, we might be able to hold an alignment for a week, 2 weeks, etc. These kids can't. Sometimes they don't even hold it for like a day, not even sometimes a few hours. It's amazing. I have done intensives where I've seen kids twice a day, every day during the week to really kind of ramp things up. And we will notice that like their second adjustment, they have some similar issues from their first adjustment, even using the most gentle tonal techniques. So what we're actually seeing is that their brain and nerve system is different. A child on the spectrum, a child with ADHD, etc., their brain and nerve system is different. They have different connections, different connectability, different functional connectivity. And that's the thing we have to understand. And Dr. Melillo, one of my teachers and mentors, talks about these disconnected kids. The reason that they're disconnected is because their brain and nerve system isn't firing the way a neurotypical kid's brain and nerve system is firing. And that's why their subluxations don't respond the same way. So we have to have whole different treatment plans care plans. So my care plan isn't like, we'll see you a couple times a week until you feel better. My care plan typically with these kind of kids is like months, maybe in years, to get to where we want to understand and get where we want them to go. So that's what we mean by disconnected kids have self-fixation. They resist correction, and we need to have care plans that are going to assess that situation every 10 visits so that we can monitor and change these kids. And this is the ultimate thing. The big idea is 1 in 5 people, kids and adults, have a mental health disorder in the US. And there's my references there from the CDC and others reference. That's 51 million adults and 14.6 million kids. You want to be disruptive? Why aren't we taking care of all these kids? We're only seeing 10% of the population, and that's overall. What's the percent of kids? I hardly even know. It's probably less than 1%, but we got to grow this, guys. We got to grow this. And what can we do to grow this is to get disruptive, to get innovative, to get groundbreaking. And that's what I'm looking for you guys, is to kind of partner with me and help me kind of take this chiropractic, this brain-based, polyvagal informed tech, a patient-centered chiropractic to a new place. So if you want to hear more about this kind of stuff, I have a podcast. It's called Chirocast. Check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, all over the place. Polyvagal stuff. Wow. I had the great honor and privilege of being able to speak with Dr. Stephen Porges, and we created the first ever polyvagal informed pediatric chiropractic seminar. The recording is live right now on the Polyvagal Institute. If you click here on the bit.ly link, or if you want to use a QR code, you can reach this. I'd love to know what your feedback is on this. I also speak for the ICPA, so if you're interested in checking out some of the ICPA classes, let me know. I would love to talk to you more about that. And also, I'm about to do a tongue tie seminar where we're kind of hooking that up, getting that ready for the end of this year. Back to the disruptive pediatrics. Number 5 and last concept is kids are what they eat, how they move, and what they play. And movement is so critical. The Teitelbaums back in 1998 had a paper that talked about movement analysis in infancy can predict autism later on. Movement is an amazing paper. I don't have it listed here, but if you want it, just email me and I'll get it to you. It is an amazing paper. It was groundbreaking, seminal paper where they talked about movement analysis is critical because the kids who are moving, having moving issues when they're little babies are now going to have other issues later on because it's already showing a disconnection. It's already showing a disconnection. Like the CDC lately, they changed their developmental milestone concept. So when they changed that milestone concept, they took out crawling. Can you believe they took out crawling as a milestone? And you know why they took it out? They said, well, because there's so many variations. No, there's not a lot of variations. There's one kind of way to do it, and there's a bunch of messed up, disconnected ways to do it that we need to get to fix. So to me, this is so critical. Why we need to do this, because the brain learns by movement, and if it's moving improperly, then it's not learning the way it's supposed to be doing. So these are the concepts that I want to kind of talk about over the next year or so in this particular Disruptive Pediatrics webinar. I hope you enjoyed this little tease about this. What I want you guys to understand, like Under Armour, I love wearing their clothes, and I love this. They're saying, protect this house. Well, you know what we have to do? And this is almost like B.J. Palmer says, guard it well. Remember in that famous quote that he has? Well, to me, we got to protect our future. We got to adjust more kiddos. It's time for us to be disruptive. It's time to us to as I close this webinar out, it's time for us to understand that being innovative, being groundbreaking is where we really need to go in order to get our chiropractic, our pediatric chiropractic to the next level, is where we need to go to get our kiddos adjusted. Think about this. 1 in 5 kids have a mental health disorder. Like, that is like, wow. How many kids is that? How many people can we reach? I want to instill in you guys a sense of urgency of what we need to do. So next month, we're going to continue this topic, get on to how we're going to do this. We're going to give you, I'm going to try to get some great speakers for you guys to interview, very quick little brief interviews of people who are disruptive out there in the pediatric world, who may not be chiropractors, but have great neurology concepts. So thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you, ChiroSecure. It has been an honor and a privilege to be one of your members for many, many, many years, all my practicing years as a chiropractor. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next month.
This pediatrics show, Look to the Children, was brought to you by Cairo Secure.